Hello, I'm Elizabeth Barnes from Shawnee, Kansas, and I'm currently a high school senior at Shawnee Mission West High School. I conducted my research at the University of Kansas Medical Center in a neuroscience lab. Let me tell you about my research. I'm focusing on how DNA methylation impacts the expression of neurogenesis regulating genes. Now that sounds like a mouthful, so let me explain what that means. Neurogenesis is the process in which new neurons are generated in our brain, and this happens throughout our lifetime. So prior to 1999, the general consensus was that you're born with all the neurons you're ever going to have. We now know that you are generating neurons throughout your lifetime, and multiple factors can impact if you have more or less neurons generated. Some of those factors are early life stress and the amount of exercise you get. So those are the two factors I'm focusing on. And then you also heard me mention DNA methylation. DNA methylation is after you experience an adverse life event such as early life stress, a methyl group can bind to a CpG site, which is when a cytosine and a guanine are next to each other. This can then impact gene expression by preventing the transcription of the following gene. Using bioinformatics, I analyzed a DNA methylation dataset to identify potential genetic mechanisms that are leading to a decrease in neurogenesis. What I found is 7 potential markers for altered neurogenesis. I then isolated RNA from the mouse hippocampus, which is where the majority of neurogenesis occurs. I then performed gene expression analysis of 4 of my 7 markers on that isolated RNA that I then turned into cDNA. And after I measured that gene expression, I was able to identify potential biomarkers for altered neurogenesis. Let me quickly summarize what all of this means. Using existing information about DNA methylation, so changes that we experience after adverse life events, I was able to identify potential biomarkers for altered neurogenesis. A decrease in neurogenesis has been associated with an increase in depression symptoms, and as mental health is becoming more prevalent in today's society, it is important to identify potential markers that could be used for diagnosing mental health disorders. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you at IFORE.